This ain't just a channel, this is BBTV.
It's Thankful Thursday, a pause in the chaos to notice what still holds up, keeps us going, or surprised us this week in the best way. Gratitude lives here. It's
A boss be rising, BBTV's igniting, turn the volume up. Yeah, the whole world's invited from the gravel road to the neon dream. She built an empire out of broken wings. Boss be rising, sky ain't even the ceiling when she hits go live. Everybody feels it.
All right, y'all, settle in because today we are diving into the messy middle of being human. This is AskABee, and if you're new here, this is where we take real stories from real people and we don't panic. We don't pearl clutch, and we definitely don't pretend that it's neat. Okay, today we're talking about gratitude versus control, boundaries versus guilt, family versus DNA, and those moments where, fear, pride, or trauma, they collide. Everybody reacts a little sideways. These aren't cartoon villains. These are tired moms, panicked lab workers, bio parents with regret, siblings with sharp tongues, and the question is never just who's the asshole. So the real question is, where did the line get crossed? And what do we do about it next? Listen, if you're here live in the chat, I want your verdicts. Honey or stinger, you know what they mean. I want every single one of them because y'all help me build that way. So if you're on replay, drop them below in the comments. Always welcome. I love perspective, okay? And irony too, so don't forget that. Now, we judge behavior, not existence. We call out patterns, not people's work. And remember, sometimes the right answer isn't dramatic, it's steady. So buckle up because some of these are going to hit your pride. Some may even poke your parenting skills, and some might make you rethink that you owe people just because they share blood with you. Let's get into it. So our first story is, it's Thankful Thursday, y'all. It's all about gratitude, right? And lack thereof. Yes, because sometimes that does happen, doesn't it? All right. Well, let's get this first panel up here and I'll just, scoot myself over. All right. Let's see. Am I the a-hole for snapping gee thanks at my daughter and walking out after hearing her say how cool it would be to have a celebrity as a parent instead of me? My 35 female daughter, who is 16, is obsessed with screenwriting and recently became a huge Shonda Rhimes fan. Showrunner apparently behind Grey's Anatomy. I did not know that. Hello. I'm sorry, I can't read what you're saying, but thank you for being here. So, and talks about her all the time. I'm supportive of her dreams. However, what annoys me is that she complains that where we are in the Midwest, there's very little opportunities to meet people in the industry who could be potential future mentors. She also complains she'll never get to Hollywood if she stays here when I suggested going to college locally. Today, I had a bad shift at work the night before, and she knew that. She was in the kitchen with her cousin, researching scripts for inspiration when they started looking up her current celebrity idol and found out that she had kids. My daughter said, "Aw," and then she sighed and said to her cousin something along the lines of, "Can you imagine how cool it would be to be her daughter? Literally, how grateful I'd be. I'd worship the ground she walks on. Shonda, adopt me, please." I came out of the living room and snapped at her. "Gee, thanks for reminding me why I go to work at a job I hate every day. Totally worth it because my daughter obviously appreciates me and doesn't want to swap me for a multimillionaire she'll never know." Wow. Well, hello, Mr. Bumblebee. Who is me? Glad to have you. I'm Boss Bee, so you know how it works around here. Okay, and who would totally give her the right or the light of day and become her mom if she did know her? My daughter said, "What the heck? That's not what I meant, Mom." But I was done with her for the moment and walked out to cool off. All righty then. Panel 2. Let's bring some more into this, shall we? When I came back in, my daughter and her cousin had locked themselves in her room, and when I knocked on her door, she was crying and told me to go away. After her cousin left, my sister called me and said I overreacted. I said that I was sick of my daughter more and more seeming unsatisfied with our life and all that I've given her. And even projecting that stereotypical, "this town isn't good enough for me, I want to move to LA" attitude. But apparently, I had to be a hotshot showrunner to be good enough to be her mom. My goodness. Chicken nuggets are tasty, and I play Bobox and spend money on Bobox or Bobucks. Boy bucks. I'm not sure what all that is, but hey, that's really cool. And you know what? I do like chicken nuggets too. So I agree. They're tasty. Depends on what kind, though. Don't hand me, the cheap kind. Anyway, my sister said I obviously couldn't have or couldn't even be a screenplay reader if this is how I interpret things, and told me to apologize. My daughter was still upset during dinner and dodged any attempts I made at conversation. Well, I would too. You're kind of mean, lady. I made conversation. I finally had enough and told her that I wasn't going to apologize for being offended when she knew I was somewhere around the house when she said that. Hi, Des. And that she obviously meant what she said about Shonda having the ability to make her a big screenwriter, but I couldn't. And she was ashamed of me for that. That's not what she said, lady. Okay, my daughter said she loved me, but she's sick of my assumptions and stormed away from the table. I don't blame her. Am I the a-hole for being upset that my daughter basically implied I was an inferior person and parent in front of me when I make all the sacrifices as a single mom to give her the computer she researches her idols on? Are you kidding me, lady? Oh, just because you had a bad day doesn't mean you need to treat your child like this, okay? Oh my gosh. Come on. Every child out there has an idol, and it's not one of their parents. And you know what? That's okay. Because if these people are better than you, then you strive to be like that as a teenager, right? I mean, even artists have an idol. Think about music, okay? Because I love music. But think about it this way, okay? Music that you hear today, it samples all the stuff that your parents' generation or the generation before you, it samples that music. History repeats itself. Things work out that way. Okay, look, I better breathe for a second. This is not about Shonda Rhimes. This is about a tired mom hearing something through the filter of exhaustion and insecurity. Okay? Seriously, why would you put that on your daughter when she's just sitting there daydreaming out loud? Big damn deal. Come on. You worked a bad shift. You hate your job. You're carrying single mom pressure. So when your daughter fantasizes about being adopted by a celebrity showrunner, and let me remind you, and of course, I'm probably going to get something for this, but Justin Bieber, since we've already talked about him, he had mentors. He had, well, I hate to say it, but Usher and Diddy, and I won't go into that because I don't know. I wasn't there, and that's not my business. But the point is, these kids are growing up watching the people they idolize. Why is that a bad thing? Your brain is not listening. It's not hearing teenager dreaming big. It's hearing I'm not enough. And that hurt came out sideways because it wasn't real. It shouldn't have been. The sarcasm, the dramatic speech, okay, the storm out, that wasn't discipline. That was wounded pride and abuse, if you ask me. Was what she said thoughtful? No, it wasn't. But she's 16 years old, for fork's sake, okay? Not known for emotional awarenesses, 16-year-old. They just love what they love, and they're allowed to because they're 16. But look, she wasn't rejecting you, okay? She was romanticizing access to somebody else. There's a huge difference in you're not enough and she would be better. She was imagining mentorship, opportunity, proximity to the industry she loves. Teens exaggerate. Adopt me, please, okay? Pardon me. That's internet language, not a legal request, okay? This is crazy. So the real tension here is you hearing her dissatisfaction with geography and translating it into dissatisfaction with you personally. That's two different things. She wants Hollywood, okay? That doesn't mean she doesn't want her mom. And when you doubled down at dinner and told her she was ashamed of you, oh my gosh, where did you get that? That's where it tipped for me, at least. You assigned intent instead of asking for clarification. Now, are you a bad mom? I don't think so. I think this was a bad situation you were in with your child. Now, are you human and burnt out and sensitive about not being able to, open industry doors for her? Absolutely, right? At least I hope so. I really do. The repair here is simple but hard, right? You tell her you were hurt, not that she insulted you. You separate your sacrifices from her ambitions. Okay, let me stop there for just 1 second, because why would you put all that pain that's in your body, in your mind, and in your soul on your child? She's 16 years old. Do you want her to grow up giving guilt trips to everybody she knows like you did to her? Because that's what that was, honey. That was not cool. You don't put that crap on your kids. Don't ever. And definitely don't let me find out, okay? Because I am all about the kids. I have 3 wonderful, beautiful children that have brought 3 wonderful, beautiful other people into their lives and mine as well. And I will fight to the death for that stuff. Don't you dare put that on your child. That burnt me. Supporting her dreams, it doesn't mean you have to feel replaced by them, okay? This isn't about being inferior. There's no superior here either. It's about insecurity meeting teenage hyperbole, okay? At the wrong moment. That's all that is. We got some comments here. You're the asshole. Agreed. She behaved like a teenager, but you behaved like an infant. Thank you. Okay, see? This is why I pull comments, because sometimes I don't even have to say anything. They take care of it for me. She was making a playful exaggeration to her cousin, and you exploded and had a full-scale tantrum. Yeah. You're a parent. It's time to grow up. Amen. Amen, sis. Second commenter. Yep. Original poster is meant to be the adult and is acting like a brat. Amen. Teenagers are gonna be teenagers. No need to pull the whole I work a job and I hate it. Hate it so you can live a guilt trip. See? Guilt trip. I told you. Third comment. Or as I like to call it, I do the bare minimum legally required of me for responsibility I willingly took on. Why don't you worship the ground I walk on? Right? That's what she's saying. You know it is. Look, these commenters are coming in hot, but they're not completely wrong, right? Correct? The core message is this, okay? Your daughter acted like a teenager. You acted like someone who was triggered. Seriously. You acted, well, it's like you had a little Freaky Friday going on there because no. The I work a job I hate for you line is classic guilt trip. Absolutely classic guilt trip energy. And teens shut down hard when they feel emotionally leveraged like that. Believe it. You can't tell me when you were a teen you didn't have something like that do that for you too, right? Hi, Paul. How you doing, honey? Oh, okay. So, yeah, okay. The third comment is a little bit harsh, but it's poking at something real. Providing for your child is not a favor. Your own owed worship for, okay? Why does she need to worship you? Why can't she just be respectful of you? Which she's 16 years old. There's a limited amount there, but I don't see anything she was doing that was disrespectful. She was dreaming, and you shattered her dream by being a bitch. Yeah, I'm pissed at this one. Sorry, y'all. So that doesn't mean your sacrifices don't matter. They absolutely do. But when gratitude becomes a demand instead of something that grows naturally, look, it turns into resentment on both sides. The fix here isn't shame, it's recalibration. You're the adult. When you stay steady, she'll learn how to be steady. Get your shit together, lady. God bless. How can you do that to a child? A 16-year-old. And I'm sorry, when emotions come in hot, yeah, about 16 years old, right? I know when I was 16 years old. Oh, I'm not going to talk about that. Paul's here. Yeah, he's known me since I was 16. 15, actually. 15. Yep. All righty. Here's the next one. I got another story, of course. Hi, Patty friend. How are you, honey? Okay. Let's see here. Get my panel up. Y'all don't read this faster than I do, okay? That's embarrassing. And I worked this job so hard just for you. Fork that. I'm sorry. I want to say something while my camera is putting me too bright for some reason. I just want to say this, okay? If you are not grown up yourself, don't have kids. Okay? If you react like this, do yourself a favor. Get them tied. Jesus. I don't know that I have too many that are secret anymore. I mean, I think everybody knows just about everything about me. That's why I'm in hiding. Just kidding. Yeah, skull baby. You know too much about me, so shh. All right, here we go. Still moving on. Am I the a-hole for not thanking my brother-in-law when he saved my daughter? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I want to read on. Hi, all. On Friday, it was my cousin's kid's birthday, and we had the party at a local lake. My daughter is 4 and cannot swim. I also can't swim, and my husband, who can swim, was not present. I explained water safety to my kid. She had a life jacket on, all that jazz. I also have a toddler, however, and had to nurse him for a nap. I believe you, Injun. So I left my cousin in charge of my daughter while I left to feed my son. My daughter hadn't been into the water at all, and I thought she was fine. She was not. I still don't really know what happened. One second, everything was fine. The next, everyone was screaming. I got down to the lake's edge just as my brother in law was pulling my daughter from the lake. Her life jacket had been removed. Oh, Lord. She coughed up some water and he did some water vomit trick, which led to her clearing out. After he was sure she was fine, he walked her over to me and said, verbatim, shitty parents lead to unalive kids. I almost said it. Get your head out of your ass and teach her how to swim. Wow. Okay. I'm about to get even more fired up, I think. I didn't really have much of a response, just packed up my kids and drove her to the ER. She's completely fine, just a little shaken up and very afraid of water. Anyway, my sister texted me and told me I ought to thank him for saving her life. I didn't respond initially. I would have. And he wouldn't have liked it because we were still in the ER, which led to her calling me an ungrateful bitch. Again, I ignored because my daughter needed me, but last night everything came to a head. My brother-in-law DM'd me asking if I would have rather she drowned. Wow. Following that, I have received message after message. I tried to explain that I've been busy, but my sister said not to contact them unless it's to thank him and apologies. Hey, I'll thank you to kiss my what? Yeah, I will probably thank him just to keep the peace. You better not. But I think they're out of line. There was no need for his comment and their following behavior. My husband thinks I should go to no contact, but he's never liked them, so I'm hesitant to listen. I think you should listen to your husband. Quite frankly, I think your husband should go and slap him in his damn face. Okay, so am I the a-hole for not thanking him yet? Well, first off, let me just say, lose the yet. Okay, you don't need to. All right, a little edit. I sent him a long message detailing my apology and explanation a few hours ago. I haven't received a reply, but it has been read. Okay, so he got the message. You know he did. It's easy to see that on the phone, especially if you're a computer person. Anyway. All right. This one's pretty layered, if you ask me. So let's slow it down just a little bit. First, your child almost drowned. That alone is traumatic. When something like that happens, your nervous system goes into survival mode. Why is this? I'm sorry. I feel like I'm just way too bright right now. Let me fix this if I can. There we go. Woo, okay. Wow, now I can't see. All righty. So, yeah, you weren't sitting around plotting gratitude etiquette, were you? You were in shock. Then in the ER when trying to stabilize your daughter, okay? So, no, the fact that you didn't immediately send a thank you bouquet, card, whatever, does not make you a villain. Now, your brother-in-law did something important. He acted quickly. He pulled her out. He likely prevented something catastrophic. That deserves acknowledgement, of course. But here's where this gets messy. Saving a child and humiliating a parent in the same breath are two separate actions. Shitty parents lead to unalived kids is not constructive. It's not helpful. It's rage. It may have been fear-fueled rage, but it was still a slap while you were already panicking. And then the follow-up harassment, the DMs, the would you rather she drown, that's escalation, not accountability. However, this is the uncomfortable part, your daughter's life jacket was removed. You don't know how. You can't swim. Your husband wasn't there. You handed supervision to someone else at the lake. That's a serious safety gap. You don't deserve cruelty, but you do need to own the risk that happened. You know, I understand you were out there trying to feed your other child. I get it, but you probably should have taken your other child, both of them with you in the house and just did it that way. It's the safest way. I'm not saying you were wrong. I mean, quite personally, I'm thinking, the sister is the problem here because not only did she remove the jacket, but, she was responsible. I'm sure she said, hey, I'm going to go feed this other child. Do you mind? She said no. She went in. Problem solved. Bigger problem happens because apparently the sister wasn't paying as much attention as she should have, right? No. So near drowning situations are rarely 1 second fine, the next second chaos. They're silent and fast. So this is a wake-up call, not a character assassination. I'm not saying that you're a terrible parent. I wouldn't say that. The mere fact that you confided your trust in somebody else with your own child, who's your sister. Look, gratitude and boundaries can coexist. You can say, thank you for acting quickly. I'm incredibly grateful she's okay, full stop. That doesn't mean you co-sign how he spoke to you, right? It doesn't mean that you accept being harassed. It means you separate the act from the attitude. Your husband wanting no contact might be about pattern, not just this incident. Your dad agreeing suggests this isn't isolated behavior. Okay, that's worth noticing. So are you the asshole for not thanking him immediately? Absolutely not. You were in crisis mode, but do you owe acknowledgement for the rescue? Yes. It's the polite thing to do. And you've already sent it, so you're done. Now the bigger issue isn't really the thank you. It's whether this family communicates with accountability or with attack. That's the conversation that actually matters, right? All right, I got a couple of comments, of course. Now, first commenter. Honestly, the more I think about it, the more I feel like the brother-in-law, worried about the child, angry, reacting. But maybe neither of our outbursts are exactly warranted. I find the original poster's comments about whether the brother-in-law deserves a thank you to be distasteful and petty. Agreed. And I suppose I was being a bit petty too. Also agreed. I am put off by the original poster seeming to gloss over the safety issues. I am too. But I'm also pretty concerned by the broader family dynamic of apparent racism towards the father and bullying, which may impact how carefully the child was watched or looked after by the extended family. Mostly, I'm thankful that everything turned out okay, and I hope everybody takes away the right lesson. Well, it's certainly not about racism. I'm not quite sure why they would say that because I didn't see any kind of racism in there. If anything, I just saw some petty narcissists that didn't understand the issue and spoke without thinking about it first or getting clear answers. Because obviously they knew where she was. She was with her baby under her shirt, not with her head in her ass, right? Asshole. I don't like this person. All right, more comments. See here. Wait a minute. Your 4-year-old daughter has a verbal delay and is selectively mute. So you leave her at the water where she can't verbally call for help, wearing a bulky life jacket she probably didn't like and removed herself under the care of a cousin. I don't think you know what you're talking about, Mr. Commenter. Okay. Did the cousin know she is unable to swim? How old is this cousin? Was the life jacket on correctly, or could it be? I think what we're just saying here is they're wanting a little more context, which they're asking for a little bit more than I think they need. If you ask me, that's kind of silly. I'm not even going to finish this one because they're just going and going and going, and it's stupid. Alrighty, next one. Perfect breakdown. I wanted to say too. I have my daughter has been helping me get these stories out and everything, so that I don't read them all before the show. So I'm just as surprised as you would be. I just know that I can be careful and I got to change words and stuff like that, but I don't have to read the whole thing. So I'm going to have to get my child for this one, find out what she did. Anyway, perfect breakdown. She basically left her child who doesn't speak in the care of people who probably don't understand sign language. How was supposed to cry out for help, and who would have understood? The original poster's explanation and comments make the situation much worse. She should have taken her child with her. See, I wouldn't go as far as saying terrible parent like this person, but see, you should have taken both your children with you. Then whatever happens is on you, and you don't have that, floating over somebody else's head. So, the comments, they escalated fast. The first commenter is the most balanced one, if you ask me. They're basically saying what I said earlier: fear plus anger plus trauma all collided at one time. The brother-in-law reacted from panic. You react from shock. That doesn't make either of you monsters, but it does mean the safety issue can't be brushed aside. And they're right about one thing, okay? The biggest takeaway should be the lesson, not the ego battle. Now, the second and third comments, they're harsh, very harsh. And they're coming from a place of worst case scenario thinking. The ER nurse perspective is intense because, they've seen tragedies. That's why the language is so sharp. But here's the thing: almost a tragedy does not equal you wanted your child to drown. Okay? That's an emotional leap. Not a fair one. No. However, and this part matters, the safety concerns, okay, they're pointing out are real. A non-swimming 4-year-old at a lake, life jacket removed, caregiver hand off, parent who can't swim. That's a high-risk setup. I mean, if you can't swim, why would you take your child there without your husband or without knowing that there was somebody that had your back? The selective mutism detail, makes it even riskier because calling for help isn't reliable. That doesn't make you evil. It means layers of protection failed at once. Now, the tone of shitty parents lead to unalive kids is cruel, yes. But the core message underneath it: water safety is unforgiving. It only takes seconds. This isn't about being a terrible parent. It's about tightening protocols moving forward. Live and learn. Properly fitted, non-removable life vests. Direct adult swimmer supervision only. No assumption that she wasn't going in. Swim lessons ASAP. You learning basic rescue skills is a good idea too. And when you take her to the swimming lessons, take them yourself. It's not too late. So, these comments emotionally charged because near drowning cases are emotional. But there's a difference between accountability. Pardon me. I hate when this happens. Yeah. Sorry, it's doing something weird. This was happening yesterday. I'm sorry. Okay, come on. So okay, there's there's a difference between accountability and character assassination. You had a wake up call. Your child survived it. That's the blessing. Now you adjust. That's what good parents do. And you're not a bad parent. I hate it when people try to make you seem like a bad parent because one simple problem, one tiny little problem. I mean, no, it could have been a very big problem. I get it. I'm not trying to, diminish that in any way. But what I'm saying here is you can't set all the blame on somebody else when it's your responsibility first. Okay, it's break time. You know how I do. I shall return momentarily. Y'all enjoy.
She came from the quiet storms, built a fire from the ground, turned a whisper to a warning. Now her voice shakes the town. Every setback was a lesson. Every doubt became a key, unlocking something bigger. That's the rise of Boss Bee. When the lights go low, her vision hits high. She built a whole damn network off a promise and a try. Every sunrise, every moment, she's stacking legacy. This ain't just a channel, this is BBTV. Boss Bee rising, BBTV's igniting. Turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel road to the neon dream, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss Bee rising, sky ain't even the ceiling. When she hits go live, everybody feels it. She's the queen of the comeback, the storm in the stream, crafting stories out of heartbeats, making visions out of dreams. Got thunder in the hustle, got a voice that cuts clean. Every mic she touches turns the power unseen. So let further spin the numbers, let the views rise slow or fast. Boss Bee doesn't measure wins by echoes of the past. This moment is a pivot, this season's history. Bow down to the founder of the BBTV dynasty. Boss Bee rising, BBTV's igniting. Turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel roads to the neon dream, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss Bee rising, sky ain't even the ceiling. When she hits go live, everybody feels it. She's got fire in the head, it's got truth in the frame. Got a heart that won't retire and a gift you can't name. Every loop, every letter, every dream she sets free. It's a love note to the world sign. Boss Bee. And the world keeps watching as the numbers climb, but she's counting all the moments, not the dollar signs. From the late night grind to the daylight scene, she's building something bigger than the algorithm's dream. Boss Bee rising, BBTV shining. Her story's rewriting, a legacy in real time. Boss Bee rising, BBTV's igniting. Turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel roads to the neon dream, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss Bee rising, sky ain't even the ceiling. When she hits go live, everybody feels it. BBTV, where the stories breathe. BBTV, where the dreamers believe. Boss Bee rising, watch her take her place. This is BBTV, this is her grace.
right, we are back and I am bright again. What is up with this light? My goodness. Come on, work with me. There we go. A little bit better. All right. I didn't even take that one down. I just got excited about that one, I think. Alrighty. Now then. Let me load up this one that I was supposed to do, but these dogs won't let me. Friggin' dogs. Seriously. Forking dogs, man. Alrighty. We have another story. Let's get her going. Panels. I need my panels. There it is. Or not. Ha. Buttons are not my friends. Okay. Am I the asshole for forcing my kid to say thank you to my... Wait. Can we do that again? Am I the asshole for forcing my kids to say thank you to my kids are at the stage? Okay. Where's the punctuation, people? My kids are at the stage. They start grasping things now. 5 months and 5 male, 6 female. And recently, I've noticed a bit of ungratefulness in the kids they hang out with, throwing tantrums at food. A kid told his mom he hated her and his birthday party because he didn't like the gift he got. Okay, what's different from any other child? And you probably should have spaced them out a little bit. Wow. Okay. I'm scared of my kids following suit, or are you just scared of your kids? So I've started making them say thank you for anything that's being given directly to them. For instance, we went to a little carnival and had a great time. In the car on the way back, I prompted them with, and now what do you say to mommy and daddy for today? And they said thank you with no problem. I expect manners from them no matter what they ask for. Agreed. Even if it's a cup of water at night, I expect a please and a thank you. Nothing wrong with that, Dad. Mom. My husband, however, doesn't enforce this rule, but also, very slightly, demands things be done. Okay. He's still saying things like pass this, pass that, and not acknowledge the person doing something for him. I've tried to talk to him a few times, and he said I was trying to change the way he was raised, which I sort of understand. But recently he told my mother-in-law about the situation, and both of them agree that I'm doing too much. Okay, so am I the a-hole for forcing my kids to say please and thank you? No. And I think your mother-in-law is the asshole for not teaching her son. Sorry. Not sorry. All right, this one is really way less dramatic and way more about philosophy or etiquette or manners, whichever way you want to put it. You're not wrong for teaching manners, okay? 5 and 6 is exactly when you build those habits. Please and thank you. I mean, I should know. I got a 4-year-old granddaughter in there. She's just finally starting to say it. But please and thank you are not oppressive rituals either. They're social glue. Imagine the relationships that they're going to have from this point on. You want them to be productive relationships, right? So teach them manners. Nothing wrong with that. Kids don't magically wake up grateful, okay? You have to teach them. They learn by example. They learn by seeing, by being told. They practice it until it becomes automatic. Practice makes perfect. That's not just a cliche. So prompting them, totally normal and respectful and great job. Especially when you're seeing other kids melting down over birthday gifts and thinking, not in my house. That's preventative parenting, not dictatorship. Okay. Now, here's the part you want to watch. There's a difference between modeling gratitude and manufacturing it on command. If every outing ends with, now what do you say to mommy and daddy? It can start to feel performative, instead of organic. And gratitude sticks best when it's modeled consistently. If you and your husband say thank you to each other naturally, the kids absorb that. And he should be saying it. I mean, come on. Be better than your parents, right? And right now, that's the real issue. Your husband saying past this without acknowledgement, that undermines the standard that you're trying to set. And kids copy tone more than rules, right? If dad doesn't say thank you, then you'll notice your mother-in-law saying you're doing too much probably comes from a generational they'll learn eventually mindset. So I don't know what to tell you about that one. But politeness is learned through repetition. You're not asking for worship, you're asking for basic courtesy. That's not a bad thing. That's reasonable. That's only adjustment. I would suggest is tone, less force, more reminder. Instead of making it a ritual after every activity, sprinkle it naturally. When they say thank you without prompting, highlight it. When they forget, gentle nudge. So no, you're not the asshole. You're intentional. The bigger conversation isn't with your kids, it's with your husband about consistency. Because if you want grateful kids, they need to see grateful adults. Pretty simple. I got some comments. All right. Not the a-hole. Your kids are learning manners and how to be polite and grateful for things. Your husband might be able to learn a few lessons from them. Got to edit here. I would also add that a great way to reinforce good manners, which you may already be doing because you sound like a good mom, very good, is to also thank them when they're being helpful too. So they learn a bit more of the why you say thank you. That seems reasonable to me, right? Next commenter, I said please and thank you to my son while he was growing up. Kids do notice more than people think. They sure do. Yes, I did expect him to be polite, but I was also polite to him. Good job. To me, this is the best way to teach kids manners. I can't disagree with that. Show them by your example they are paying attention. Amen to that. Third comment, not the a-hole. I've worked in childcare for years. It really costs nothing to be polite. True. Can you please pass this? Thank you, etc. Basic manners, and it makes them think of their actions. It's so rude not to at least say please or acknowledge the person doing something for you, even if it's as simple as passing an object. I agree. I'm not going to get mad at somebody if I hold the door for them and they don't say thank you. It's whatever. I don't care. You know what? It's about the reaction. It really is. I think these commenters are basically reinforcing the healthy version of what you're trying to do. The first one nails something important. Yes, you expect manners from your kids, but reinforcing it by thanking them when they help is huge. That teaches, I hate having to try and say this word, reciprocity. I got it. Not obedience. Reciprocation. Okay? It shows gratitude goes both directions. The second commenter hits the modeling point again. Kids absolutely notice tone and behavior. If you say please and thank you to them, to your husband, to strangers, that consistency builds culture in your house. Manners stick when they're demonstrated, not just demanded, right? And I guess, the third commenter, just a little comment on this growing up. I was raised to always say, please, thank you. And regardless of age, whether younger than me, I always address everyone as sir and ma'am. That's true. And my 3 grandkids are being taught to always address everyone with respect and politeness. Amen to that. I mean, well, we grew up together, so same, same kind of grew up together. I don't know if I'm grown up yet. Look at me, I got a YouTube channel. You know, hmm, I lived with my grandmother. I lived with my mother. I lived with lots of people in my time, and I don't ever remember. And maybe it's a Texas thing. I don't know, but I don't ever remember someone not saying thank you or please. And I remember my grandmother, who also helped raise me and I lived with for quite a while. I remember she would just, hey, oh, I'm sorry, thank you. You know, a little nudge. Nothing wrong with that. People get distracted, they forget. But I mean, it should be like muscle memory, right? You should just be able to say thank you. You were there then, you were here now. Thank you. You know, whatever. Say thank you. Do it. It doesn't hurt. It really doesn't. And it really doesn't cost anything. Okay, so that third commenter from childcare is right too. Okay, politeness costs nothing. It's not about being stiff or formal. It's about acknowledging your effort, right? Even thanks for passing that signals respect. It's respect. It's not even about the words, it's about the tone too. You know, it needs to sound genuine. So these comments are basically saying you're not wrong. Just make sure you're modeling the behavior at the same intensity that you expected. And I totally agree. That's what makes it, I guess, land long term, you know? And they will listen. They have nobody else to listen to but you at the moment, especially at 5 and 6. I mean, one of them may have just started school, but barely. And then you've got the two biggest teachers, your mom and the teacher at school. And if they ain't communicating, well, let me tell you something. You're in trouble. Alrighty. Last story before I get out of here. We still got a few more minutes. Don't worry. I got this one. All right. Am I the a-hole for not meeting my bio family and responding to the message they sent me with a simple no thanks? I am not sure how to start a post off, but I'll try to give a bit of background information, I guess. Oh, and in case it is important, I am 25 male and the parents are probably in their late 40s to early 50s. Probably. You don't know how you're been? Okay, never mind. I'm not going to get into that because that's going to be a whole nother walk. Let's see. Paul says, we all get older, but we always refuse to grow up, or at least I refuse to grow up. And knowing your mom like I did, she never ever let anyone get away without using their manners that they were raised up on. That's true. That is so true. She pop you right in the back of your head. You're right about that. I miss my mama. I wish she'd come smack me right now. Okay. Long story short, I was put up for adoption by these people, got adopted, got placed out of my adopted parents' house when I was 9, and spent the remainder of my youth in and out of foster homes and placements. Wow. Fortunately, I never had that much of a problem. I quickly got used to it, and when I was 18, I managed to get myself into college, and it all worked out for me. I got a good job now, a lovely girlfriend, a ton of friends who I consider family, and I am happy to be honest. And ended up receiving a very long message from a woman on one of my social media accounts, and it boiled down to a load of excuses as to why they gave me up, primarily centering around their age, early 20s, conservative upbringing, they weren't married, and their parents forcing them. Yes, she would. She would absolutely smile while she did it, and she'd be laughing as she's walking away, too. You know she would. Yep. I remind me of my mama. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. They then started telling me about themselves and what they referred to as my siblings. They finally finished that off with stating their desire to meet me and that they wanted me to be a part of their family. Now, I don't hold much against these people. I know it may seem like that, but I don't. It's a case of not caring, if anything. I have never longed to meet them, search them out, or anything of the sort. I just never had a desire to know them. It wouldn't change anything anyway. I ended up responding with a simple no thanks and followed that up by telling them not to contact me anymore. Oh, wow, this is tough. I figured that would be the end of it, but I couldn't be more wrong. Uh-oh. The following days, I started receiving messages from these siblings, uttering their desire to meet me. When I told them the same, that turned into accusations of making their parents cry. I ended up blocking them all, which resulted in messages from their friends. Oh my gosh. And new accounts. So I eventually just stopped using the account. It is obvious these people want to meet me and are hurt by my refusal. So am I the asshole? Okay. I'm glad this is the last one. So this one is simple, emotionally, but heavy socially, I guess. You don't owe access to anyone simply because you share DNA. Okay. Adoption is not an IOU contract. You were placed for adoption. You were removed from your adoptive home. You went through foster care. You built yourself up. You created your own family. You are stable, happy, and whole without them. That matters. Now, their message, full of explanations, siblings, be part of the family, that's about their closure. That's about their guilt. That's about their narrative wanting a reunion chapter. And here's the uncomfortable truth: biological parents often reach out when they are emotionally ready, not when the adoptee is. But you don't exist to heal their regret, okay? You didn't curse them out. You didn't insult them. You didn't reopen wounds. You said no thanks and asked for no further contact. That is a boundary. Clean, direct, honest. The harassment after, that's the part that seals it. When siblings start messaging, accusing you of making their parents cry, pardon me, recruiting friends, that's emotional pressure, but not reconciliation, right? Healthy reconnection starts with respecting the first boundary, and they didn't. Could your response have been softer? Maybe. You could have said, I'm not interested in contact at this time, but no thanks isn't cruel. It's final. And you know what? You're allowed final. The real question isn't, it's not whether they're hurt. Of course they are. The real question is whether you're obligated to rearrange your piece to soothe that hurt. And you're not. You're not rejecting them out of rage. You're declining out of indifference. And indifference isn't evil, it's self-preservation. You built your life without them. You don't have to let them back in just because, they finally want to knock. You don't have to do that. They left once. It's hard to think they might leave again. And eventually we all leave. So it's self-preservation. All right, comments. Not the a-hole. It's your life and your decision. They gave up all rights to you 25 years ago, and they don't automatically get a pass when they start feeling bad about it. It's your choice. Agreed. And we do have some responses. That's the thing. I just don't care to meet them. And you don't need to. It's okay to not want to meet them. You know, you don't know. You don't know who they are. And I mean, why rearrange your whole entire life for it? For people you don't know. Okay, not the a-hole. Nope. Their attempted manipulation and intimidation to get you to meet them is a huge red flag. You're doing fine and are happy. I say no need to involve a bunch of family. And her response, well, to be honest, I wasn't going to meet them, manipulation or not. Well, I'm happy to hear that, actually. All right, we do have one more comment. I just wonder, what do they need from you? I mean, come on. The comment, common? I think they're trying to say, come on. It's not just a pure love for your blue eyes, seeing how the whole pack is engaged and hyped. A lot of people putting too much effort. My bet is an organ donation or something material. All right. And the OP definitely answered this one perfectly. I mean, I do have pretty sexy blue eyes, though. So who knows? I had to take that one. I got that one myself because it was good. Listen, comments are basically echoing, what you already know. First one is straightforward. They surrendered parental rights decades ago. That doesn't mean they surrendered their humanity, but it does mean access to you is no longer automatic. And your response is the key here. This isn't rage, it's apathy. You're not burning bridges, you just never built one. Second commenter calling the pressure a red flag is accurate, I think, more than anything. If someone wants connection, they respect a no. The moment that it becomes group messaging, guilt trips, you made my mom cry, that shifts from reunion to coercion. Okay? And your response, it's telling too. You weren't going to meet them either way. That means your decision wasn't reactionary. Okay? It was already settled. The third comment about the organ donation is dramatic internet energy, but it's pointing at something real. When that many people push that hard, it feels transactional. Your blue eyes joke, it actually shows you're emotionally fine. You're not spiraling. You're stable. And stability gets to choose who enters the room. You said no. That should be enough. It would be enough for me. Don't pressure people. Don't push yourself on them. Why would you want to do that? I mean, it's just, why would you want to do that? I understand how important it might be for them, but did they not understand how important it was 25 years ago for this child to have parents? Okay, so I told you that one was layered. Take a deep breath. Here's what I want you walking away with. Boundaries are not cruelty. Gratitude is not worship. Fear does not make you evil. And sharing DNA does not grant unlimited access. Every single story today, came down to this. When emotions spike, do you escalate or do you stabilize? The lab panic was a wake-up call, not a character flaw. The manners debate was about, modeling, not controlling. The bio family situation was about peace, not punishment. And the lake incident, that was just fear colliding with ego. Life is messy, y'all, but growth is possible if you're willing to own your part without swallowing blame that isn't yours. So if something today made you uncomfortable, sit with it. That's usually where the lesson lives. Drop your final verdicts for me. Don't forget, honey or stinger. What, Des? You good? So if you're watching tomorrow, let me know which story hit your hardest. And if you're new here, hit subscribe because we do this every day. And it only gets deeper. So until tomorrow, guys, act grown, protect your peace, and say thank you when it matters, please. You know you need to. Why not just do it? I love you guys. Watch my promos. I will see you soon. Oh, wait. Didn't hear it all, but I'll replay. Okay, Des. Thank you, honey. Love ya. Well, with the verdict. Life is taken one day at a time, and how you deal with it is totally up to you. That is so true, Paul. That is so true. And Lord knows we have dealt with some life, haven't we? You and me, buddy. Go way back. I'll talk to you tomorrow, Des. Thank you for being here always. All right, you guys. I got to get out of here. I got baby butt this weekend, and it's an early weekend. I love y'all. I'll see you soon. Buzz you later.
I want to take a minute to shout out Tuber Chat. If you're a creator who's tired of surface level advice, says, and actually wants to understand how YouTube works, that's the space. It's real conversations with real creators who are in the trenches building channels, testing ideas. No posturing, no gatekeeping, no fake guru energy, just people sharing what's working, what isn't, and why.
If you're serious about growing, learning, and not doing this alone, check out Tuber Chat. The link is in the description. If you're enjoying this show, subscribing is the easiest way to support what's being built here on BBTV. You'll see the join button right next to subscribe. No pressure, no expectations, just an option for people who want to support the channel in a real way. We're live every day at 3 p.m. Central now. And don't worry, we didn't change the heat, just the clock. And if you've got a story you want to share, send it in. Anonymous is always fine.
A boss be rising.